Is it still recording? Yes, it is. Still going up high. Okay. So welcome back to Clean Fill Wanted. I am back at the desk, and this week we're going to be working on the legs. The legs are repurposed from the A-frame clothing rack I made about a year ago. We don't need it anymore because we have plenty of closet space. We took it and chopped off the top, put on some spreaders. Well, you'll see what we did. Here is the A-frame that I used, and the first thing you need to do is try to look cool and not sad as you destroy a project that you spent so much time on. And I clamped the two ends together, used a board, put it up against the feet, and eyed the ruler straight down from the holes because I know they're in line. Got the angle off that bottom spreader, flipped it over, and marked out the top that I would be cutting the length to. And I carried that around through all the boards with markings. I want to attach the stretcher on the top with tenons. So before I just sawed these pieces apart, I wanted to make sure that I got the tenons in there. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm not sawing it apart because I want all that registration surface for when I use the router plane. That way I know my tenons are dead on all 8 sides. And then that's when I cut those tenons, and I cut them pretty short. The tops of those tenons are perpendicular with the bottom stretcher and the floor, so I used my combination square to draw a line straight down off of those. Using my dovetail saw and a couple chisels, I then cut out those tenons so that they were vertical. What you see here is me using my combination square to try and make sure my chisel is straight. That way I know I'm making a straight mortise, or pretty close to a straight mortise. Now that those mortises are finished, fitted, I needed to make a new mortise for the stretcher. Here I'm taking the real long roundabout way of making turn buttons. Turn buttons will hold the tabletop onto the legs, or the legs onto the tabletop, half full, half empty, however you want to look at it. Then I had to make shallow mortises in the stretchers to take those turn buttons. They're wider than the turn buttons just so that everything can move as needed. For the original A-frame, I finished it with shellac, no wax, because I didn't want any wax getting on my wife's clothing. I then temporarily screwed it onto the tabletop because I wanted to feel it out. No, it wasn't very stable, so I'm going to put in these cross pieces. I made a little jig that my Forstner bit would fit into. One of the things I was going to make when I came over here was a Roorkey chair. So I bought the reamer so that I could ream out the holes, and that's what I'm using here. But if you actually find the dowel rod that's the right size for your bits, you won't need to do any of this. You'll be good to go without it.
I took my 2 dowel rod cross pieces and tapered the last 1/4 of an inch so that they fit very, very snugly into those new tapered holes for them. I then put the whole thing together and figured out where they fell on the top spreader, pushed them in a little bit so that there was tension, marked those holes, and drilled those ones out. I was then able to put the dowel rods into the frame and figure out what length they should really be cut to, taper those ends, and we're done.
There's not much that I would really change about the leg part of it. I have noticed that my knees bump into these. It is a little shallow, but it fits the space that it has to be in. It can be broken down and flat packed, so that's really what I was looking for. I will probably take these legs now and paint them white whenever I get some white paint, just to give it a little cleaner, prettier look. But I'm still really happy with this thing. Again, thank you for subscribing, commenting, and thumbs up in. I will see you guys as soon as I get the next project started, which will probably be a small one, but useful. I'm gonna make some more jigs and some tools. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging in there. See you then. Bye-bye.